Hello everybody. This is not a new set, I know, it's just a set that I didn't really get till recently, and so why not? And this is, in fact, one of my all-time favorite ships within the Star Wars universe, so I felt like it was kind of a waste to not do a review on the LEGO set of this ship. So, this is the Slave One, but not just any version of the Slave One. This is the 20-year anniversary edition of the Slave One. So, about 20 years ago, they made a very similar model of the set. Obviously, that didn't look as nice as it did now, but yeah, we'll take a look at what the old model and everything looked like in a bit. But we're mainly going to cover this 2019 version of the Slave One. And of course, it includes a very classic minifigure as part of the 20-year anniversary celebration. So, we have that. So, without further ado, let's get right to it. Here is the box. Very nice box. Obviously, mine here is probably an international shipment or something because I got that big white sticker right on it. So, it's a set 75243 with 1,007 pieces. On the side, you can see the exclusive 2000 Princess Leia from the year 2000 minifigure displayed right there, celebrating 20 years of LEGO Star Wars. And yeah, so this is the front of the box, and the back of the box. Here is the back of the box. Of course, displaying all the play features it has, all the other collectible old school style minifigures you can collect. This one has Leia. You can also collect Luke, Lando, Vader, and Han. And this one is actually a 20-year in the future replication of this model, which was created exactly 20 years ago of the Slave One. So this is the Slave One from 2000. And you can see it does not look as pretty as this one, obviously, but it is a classic, so this is more in terms of nostalgia. So this is just basically, you know, Ninjago Legacy. This is what this one basically is for Star Wars, just Star Wars Legacy, if you will. So there's that. That is the box. The good old Slave One. What an absolute model. Now, some people's first impressions will not be so good with this, because I mean, this ship does have the the crazy ability to basically go vertical when it's flying, and so when it's in landing position, it's just flat like this. So that means the pilot basically has to lie down, and then when the ship lifts up, be in the upright position. So I understand for some people who might not particularly enjoy this ship, but regardless, the design of it never fails to impress. It is absolutely amazing with the color scheme that matches very much like to Boba Fett's armor, which is great. You got the dark green, you got the olive green, and you've got the dark red. It's just wonderful colors that complement each other very nicely. Now, I will say this ship is a lot smaller than I thought. When I first got the box, I was like, yeah, this ship's gonna be pretty big. It's gonna be like Millennium Falcon size. Well, it's not as big as you would imagine. Well, the Millennium Falcon is the Millennium Falcon. It's a really big ship, and I don't have a single Millennium Falcon to be able to show a comparison, but the closest thing I have is, of course, the Razor Crest from The Mandalorian. Now, there we go. So, here's the thing. The Razor Crest and the Slave One are both ran by bounty hunters and, in some ways, Mandalorians. And yeah, if you take a look here, then you'll notice that the Razor Crest is actually bigger, slightly bigger, by that little bit, of the Slave One. Also, of course, obviously you weren't able to tell unless you hold the physical models yourselves, but the Razor Crest is a lot more heavier than the Slave One. The Slave One is, in some ways, a bit heavy, but it's actually much lighter than the Razor Crest. The Razor Crest just has a lot of weight on it. But yeah, there we go. So that is, you can see the size. they're not, you can't really tell too much of a difference, but up to a point where you can see, yeah, the slave one is a little bit on the smaller side than the Razor Crest. So that is the Razor Crest. Once again, want to see a more detailed review on this, then be sure to check out the channel, because I have done a video on the Razor Crest. So going back to the slave one, so here it is in the parking position. Now obviously this thing can be picked up and flown, so before we do that, we got to show you some play features it has. So number one, this area here. Now you would think this area is just this is where like Boba would enter the ship, right? This will be where he enters the ship and hauling his cargo in, but in the Lego form, obviously it can be used as a storage, but you can't put it in there obviously without having it fall out when it's in flight mode. So the trunk is actually underneath this platform, which you can lift up, and right inside you can see they have the carbonated Han Solo piece. Now this piece isn't new. We've gotten this carbonated Han Solo in many Star Wars sets in the past, even cheaper sets than this. But this is how you store it in the slave one, because after all, this is what Boba Fett was after. He was collecting Han Solo in the first place to deliver to Jabba the Hutt. So I have the Han Solo figure right here, and you'll notice one thing is they have not updated the Han Solo figure mold on the carbonated piece here. You can see he still uses the old hair piece, whereas the minifigure here uses a more updated new hair piece. I just spot that little detail. I can see why they doesn't want to spend the extra mile and, you know, spend a little more money on producing a new mold, which is acceptable. But it's just something I just noticed, and yeah. Now obviously this is where you can stick the real Han Solo minifigure in, or any other figure, and just, you know, mimic the carbonated Han Solo. So it's a very nice piece. It really reminds you of a Kit Kat bar, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so this is where you put it in, right through the compartment of the slave one right there. And of course make sure you close it, or else when you pick it up to fly, it will fall out. So that is the compartment, and now we've shown he's loaded Solo on the ship. Let's pick up the ship and fly it. Number one, you can notice the guns, they can be moved up, because when they're in his flight position, that's the position you want the guns to be in. So obviously this is the flight mode. This is how the slave one will look like when it's in flight mode, and obviously it's gonna be very much of a pain to hold it while flying it, obviously. So Lego has implemented a really clever solution to this problem. So before I do that though, I need to adjust the camera angle here so you guys are gonna be able to see it. Alright, let me show you. So when I pick up the ship, you'll notice the flaps on this side also automatically turn this way. That's what it's supposed to be when it's in flight mode. So this is what the slave one really looks like, if you didn't know already. But obviously my hand's in the way. It's gonna block the entire view. So the solution Lego did is this. They have incorporated a Technic lift arm handle at the back for you to hold it, almost like a pistol. And you just hold it like this, and then you can pick it up, swoosh it around, fly it around, exactly just like that, without having to touch the front of the ship. So this is an ingenious design. Now it is quite heavy, but not as heavy as the Razor Crest. This is to the point where you can pick it up with one hand, whereas the Razor Crest you basically need both hands. And yeah, so this is how you take it in flight mode, in flying position. And here's what it looks like from the back. Obviously it doesn't look all too nice from the back, but of course it is a ship, so it's important they included these jet engines to, you know, because it's a ship. But obviously it's the back of the ship, and it obviously won't look the prettiest. Now, can you really stand this up? Well, you can, but it can get complicated. You will probably need it to lean against a wall, or you just need to build some, like have a stand or something to keep it upright, or just to keep it up. So when you want to display this thing, I would really suggest just leaving it on a landing position. It won't look as nice as this position, obviously, but yeah, this thing will need support. Although if you leave it long enough, you can leave it like this, but I wouldn't recommend it because, you know, if you had a little nudge at the table or on the shelf, and this thing would just come crashing down. So yeah, it is possible to leave it like this, but it's not the most secure position. It is in the most presentable position, but it's not in the most secure position. So there is that. So yeah, but it does look really nice when it's on display like that. Also, one more thing, the clips here is where you can clip lightsabers or blasters or anything, just as the Easter egg right there. Now, I haven't shown you the cockpit, and obviously you can actually see the emptiness. You can actually see my fingers slipping through there because it's just all empty back here. And then when you lift the cockpit, it comes off like this, so you can put your Boba Fett minifigure inside. There you go. That is the one seat, and you can see it's automatically on Technic pins, so it's integrated with the position of the ship. When it's landing, it's like this. When it's in flight mode, it's like this. And then of course you got the consoles inside, and just like that. So not too shabby whatsoever. Now the last thing to show on this ship obviously is the weapons it has. So obviously we showed you this already, the main blasters, how rapidly fires it can shoot if you've seen the movies. I'm pretty sure everyone has seen the movies, but this is where these spring-loaded shooters are and how we're gonna launch them. It's not Star Wars without spring-loaded shooters, and the gear mechanism to shoot them is actually up here with these red triggers right here. So I'm gonna shoot one from the back right here. I don't know if you saw that. And then the other one, you press this one. See my hand? There you go. That's how you shoot the spring-loaded shooter. This is actually, I believe, in my opinion, one of the more better ways to execute these spring-loaded shooters. I've seen some pretty dumb mechanisms in the past, but this one definitely is well hidden. It's not like completely sticking out, and it's under control. You don't have to accidentally touch the spring and it'll just fire away, unlike some models where you just a slight accidental nudge and then the spring-loaded shooter will just send that thing to Brazil. So yeah, but so this one, they've done it quite well. They've kept the spring-loaded shooter safely and securely inside, and the fact that you can still have fun with it. So in my final thoughts of this model, it is not bad at all. Like I said, it is much smaller than I thought, much smaller than the Razor Crest, but I believe it's up to scale. Now I know the Razor Crest is bigger. Alright, so that is the Slave One model. Obviously, there's something else that we gotta see in the set, so let's take a look at it right now. I have to start off with this minifigure first, of course. This is probably the one that will attract the most eyes. This is the 20th anniversary Leia. This is a classic Princess Leia figure that was first introduced in the year 2000. Obviously, it's not the exact same print because, well, given with the 20 years print on the back. But, of course, the face and everything is all a throwback to the old style of Star Wars figures. So this is what Leia used to look like in her old minifigure print form, with her hair removed. And we've got her, I believe this is a blaster or a flashlight, I don't even know. No printing on the legs. Apparently figures from 20 years ago didn't have printing on their legs. So there's that, and of course you got the 20-year anniversary plaque with the Princess Leia label. So that is her stand that you display her on, just like that. Very, very nice. So this will definitely be the star of the show. So this is the 20-year anniversary Princess Leia. Here is Boba Fett and Han Solo. Nothing new with these guys. We've seen them before, and so yeah, nothing new. I mean, I will say Han Solo does have a new hair, a more updated hair, 2 phases. I do prefer his hair much better than his old style hair, which is way too smooth in my opinion. And yeah, so that is Han. As for Boba, can't get enough of this guy. Obviously, these guys are awesome. The jetpack, he has his cape. This is his E13 blaster. I think this is the same figure you get from the carbonated, Han Solo being carbonated scene. And then this is his face. Does not look like Tamira Morrison, but I think it's close enough. And yeah, so this is Boba Fett. Obviously, of course, this will be my favorite figure in this set. So that is Boba Fett. Finally, 2 more figures here, which we actually don't see them do too much in the films. They're more of the background characters. So this one is Zuckuss, and this one is Forlom. Forlom, I don't even know. I believe these guys are bounty hunters, or they're just working for Cloud City or something like that. Zuck is here. I believe this is a new head mold. I believe we've never gotten this head mold before, so probably new for 2019. And then he's got the new like robe torso piece. And in the past, they would just use a standard brick with the slab, but they actually developed a actual minifigure mold for these kind of pieces now. So that is very, very nice. And he's got his blaster. Nothing too much there. Here's Forlom, probably my least favorite figure in this whole set. I just feel he looks like a discount rip-off Ant-Man with like a slightly recolored variation. But obviously he is a character from the movies. But obviously these two don't do much. So these two don't really appease me too much in terms of the minifigures. So there's that. All right, it's time to move on to the final verdict. So this set is $150 Canadian. Now, because it is an old set, I believe it will potentially retire soon, and the price may or may not will go down. If it goes down to like 100 or maybe just 80 bucks, that is already a steal. The price isn't so bad given that it is a licensed theme, but if I say it would be much better if this was on like the $80 mark or the $100 mark. I feel like every time it's just the price could always be just narrowed down by that little to make it a lot better, because well, it's expensive, not everybody has money. So but I will say though, they didn't do a bad job at all with the actual model of the slave one, so it's not bad at all. Like I think it's executed pretty well. Like if you look at it from like all angles, even when it's not in flying position, even if it's just lying flat on the ground like this, it still looks really good. It was a lot smaller than I thought. I really thought this thing would be a lot bigger. In fact, as you saw earlier, the Razor Crest was bigger than this. So I don't know, I was quite surprised at that. But apart from that, not a bad model at all. So this will definitely look very nice on your shelf when you put it on display. So yeah, not bad at all. So I guess my final grade for this model, I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10. Maybe a little lackluster on the back. It just looks awkward, and the fact that the back is very visible when you fly the ship, and so that definitely is a way they could have improved it. The handful of minifigures is what you expected. It's nothing new, except for the Leia figure, of course, the 20-year anniversary Leia. But yeah, so there's that. So let me know what you think of this set down in the comments down below. And that's it for this one. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button and sub. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.